Oh, okay. Well, Julie did the intro there.
I forgot. I'll be honest, I wasn't listening.
It's okay. We're back. It's Movie Club with friends. This time with friends. I don't. Anyways,
I'm like, it's always with friends.
yeah. We're this week we watched not Pulp Fiction, the movie that I originally put on for myself, and then checked Reservoir Dogs.
Wow.
You make me sad.
Yeah, I got like a minute in, and I was like, wait, I should make sure this is the movie, and it was not.
Are you serious?
It's Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. I always get them mixed up in my head.
They're very different movies.
They are very different. They're just
Wait. We're supposed to watch Reservoir Dogs, right?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, alright.
In my head, they're both those old Quentin Tarantino movies that everyone always talks about.
Guys, double check Discord before you watch it. Jesus.
That's how
I always put it up there.
That's how I found out. Thank you, Garrett. You're a good friend. You're a good movie club with friend. Okay, so
You show up late again, definitely will be only one friend.
this was a July pick. So let's have July start us off.
Okay. I was really excited to see this movie just because I love Quentin Tarantino's movies so much. But this is like one of the only ones that I really haven't seen, or by really I mean I have not seen at all, and I didn't know anything about this movie like going into it.
Yes.
I could tell from the cover that it was some sort of mafia boss kind of movie, but like that's all. I had no idea what it was about. I really enjoyed it. I was super surprised. I think it helped that I didn't know anything about it going into it, and I think at the end of it, what I was most excited about, and the thing that I was most impressed about, was that this was Quentin Tarantino's like real first movie ever. You know, and like if that was my first movie ever, I'd be like, I don't know if I can live up to this. Like this is, and he's like done so much better. You know what I mean? Like this is definitely, it's not my, like if I want to eventually go in and like rate all of my Tarantino movies, like what's my favorite, and like, you know, second, third, like where I fall through it. It's definitely not my favorite. I'm not sure where it lies. Like I really have to think about that, but I'm just really impressed. Like it was just so, like nothing happened the way I was expecting to happen. It's just a very big, you know, it was a thriller to me. Like I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And to find out how low budget it was just also really
Well,
I'm so impressed.
It helps when there's like what two, three sets in the entire movie.
Yeah. But apparently they had to they were so low budget that they had to use their own clothes. Like they did, like for most of the scenes in the movie, they used their own clothes, like the actors did.
Yeah.
To be in this movie, which I mean, like, I think that says a lot about the actors that are in this movie too, because like you have to be really passionate about this project that you're working on to be like, I'm not sure if I'm going to get paid at all. You know, I have to use my own clothes. You know, like, and like they had to, like, in between filming, like whenever they were filming what I read in the trivia, like whenever Mr. Pink, Steve Buscemi, is, you know, like stealing a car and running away from cops at the stoplight. Apparently they couldn't afford to have police like actually, you know, like block off that street, so they had to do it in between essentially like green and red lights, like, which is crazy. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, I just think that's really cool of the actors to be, I don't know, feel so strongly about it, because I feel like a lot of pretentious actors out there would be like, no, I need to, you know, I want to have my croissants in my trailer.
At least one of them was fairly big at that time. I know, like the dad, the big boss, right? He's a famous actor.
Yeah, Lawrence Tierney. I don't know how you say it. Tierney. But
yeah, it's kind of like a Clerk story, but yeah, it
was just really good. I just thought, you know, considering how, like, I thought the timeline was kind of interesting too. I thought the introduction scene was really interesting, because I think it's kind of like, it's like a small glimpse into these people's personalities, and their relationships with each other. Like in my mind, like when I first saw like when they're in the diner, I thought that all these people were all friends. Like I had assumed that all these people eat
Had,
breakfast
like, worked
together
before.
every day.
Yeah.
That they
Yeah.
eat breakfast together all the time. Like this is what they do. Like they like I assumed it was like a mafia movie. Like this is the family, you know. And then come to find out, like very early on, that like no, this is Mr. Pink, Mr. White, Mr. Orange, Mr. Blonde, Brown, like, and they don't know anything about each other. And I don't know, like the dynamics between them is really really funny. I just want to point out to you, like the one thing that I'll say is that I do think it's hilarious that Steve Buscemi, who like very early on comes off to be like, oh, he's an asshole, like he doesn't tip, like he's like dramatic and he's just awful, and then he ends up being like he keeps yelling at, am I the only professional here, like am I the only professional?
No, he's
and I'm like, huh,
he's the best character in that movie.
yeah, and he ended up being the only professional.
And the only one that lived.
Yeah, according to
there's some.
Yeah,
I
there's
don't know.
there's
I
there's
didn't-
theories that you can go either way. Either got caught by the police or he got away.
According to Quentin Tarantino, Mr. Pink survives. He says you can verify this by. According to Quentin Tarantino, Mr. Pink survives. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can verify this by increasing the volume of the background sounds. Mr. Pink runs out of the building with the diamonds. Police officers can be heard shouting at him to put his hands on the ground. Gunshots can be heard, and then Mr. Pink shouts that he has been shot. You can then hear the officers talking to each other as he is arrested. However, having participated in a robbery with such a huge loss of life, he is undoubtedly have faced the death penalty, apparently. So,
So
he's
Mr. Pink's dead.
yeah. Yeah, which means that, but he didn't die there.
Yeah.
Which is too bad, because I do love how he's just kind of like, I'm gonna take this and go now. Like,
Yeah, he comes up from like that ramp and he's just
yeah, he's just
that was fucked up.
I thought it was kind of funny the way, like, his exit. He's just like, because he like slowly like runs away. You know what I mean? I don't know. I thought it was hilarious. Also, apparently, they said the word "fuck" over 200 times in the movie, which I also think is really funny.
Yeah. So, what do you give this movie?
That's a good question. I think I'll say that I'll give it probably like an 8. Like I think it's a great movie. Would highly recommend. And yeah, I think I loved it. I think I will bring it up kind of like right now. I'm like all about it. Like this is how I feel after I watch every Tarantino's films. Like I'll be honest with you. Like that's one of the things that I love about his movies. Like he makes me want to talk about his movies for days, and it's kind of annoying. Like I was talking about it all day at work. I like texted a couple of my friends to be like, have you seen this movie? And they're like, yes, like this movie came out forever ago, like what's wrong with you? But like I whenever I see one of his movies, I just want to talk about it with people because it's just, I don't know, so impactful. So it's kind of cool.
So,
But yeah, still not like my favorite of the Quentin Tarantino movies.
so my question for you, Julie, though, is: did you like this more? Have you seen The Hateful Eight?
Yes,
So
I
which one? They're both very similar movies. So which one did you like more?
Oh, that's a really good question. Like I said, I haven't really thought about like where Django, Kill Bill, Pulp Fiction, and Glorious Bastards. Like I don't know where they all like fall for me right now. Like with his movies. So I need to get back to you on that, boss. Like let me think about it for a little bit. So
Okay.
I really enjoyed Hateful Eight, but
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, so gotta need a second.
So okay, so for me, I saw this movie in high school, and I didn't remember really anything about it because I just thought it was really boring because it was just talking, and I guess my tastes in movies or whatever have changed. I'm gonna give this movie a 7, and I liked it. I did actually really like that it basically took part in one fucking room. I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know why, just did. I liked The Hateful Eight more than this movie. I only compare them because they are really similar movies. It's just
And don't go into any more detail because I've not seen The Hateful Eight yet.
okay.
I can't
it's
believe you
just,
haven't seen Hateful Eight.
you should see it, Jared. If you like this movie, you'll like this movie, The Hateful Eight, because they're both just people in a room with high tension.
Well, it's funny. They use there's actually similar actors. Tim Roth and Michael Madsen are both in Hateful Eight and Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, I believe there's a lot of.
So Mr. Orange and Mr. Blonde are in Hateful Eight.
I think there's a lot of references to Reservoir Dogs and the Hateful Eight. Yeah, other than that, Mr. Pink was my favorite. I don't know much else to say. It has that Tarantino way of talking where everyone always says it's really like realistic, and I don't know if that's how I would say how they talk, but he just puts in a lot of conversation kind of about a nothing. Even in like the beginning, they're just kind of talking about nothing, and some people really appreciate it. I'm indifferent with it. It's
That whole beginning scene was pointless, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to like show. Like I said, I just think it was kind of like introducing the characters. And apparently, one of the reasons why I think they filmed that after they had filmed other parts of the movie, but Quentin Tarantino said that he really thought that was important because Mr. Blue didn't have any lines in the movie other than that scene.
Also, there's one thing in that scene that you guys might have noticed. Whenever Joe, the boss, asks who didn't throw in, Orange, the undercover cop, immediately snitches on Mr. Pink.
Yeah.
And thus giving the audience a clue that Orange is the snitch the whole time.
Yeah. Dude, I felt bad. Like, whenever, like, one of the cool dynamics between Mr. White and Mr. Orange, you know, like, Mr. White just, like, you can see the guilt that guy feels about Mr. Orange dying, you know, and and it's funny, because when they flash back to that scene, like, when he gets shot by the lady, when he's still in the car, like, I'm like, why does Mr. White feel so guilty about that? Like, I feel like Mr. Orange kind of, like, he got shot because he was stealing a car. Like, I don't really get why Mr. White felt so guilty, but he did a really good job of portraying his guilt the whole time.
Why did Mr. Orange confess that he was a cop at the very end? That
for,
was the dumbest thing ever.
For some reason, these two, I don't know, in this heist, getting away from this situation, they shared some kind of bond. What I'm assuming.
I think that's a dumb ass cop out because first of all, you're an undercover cop, so you know what's gonna you're gonna get close to these people. You know they're terrible. And second of all, like, they haven't been together that long. I don't think their relationship could.
Yeah,
but they
bleeding out, and maybe he's just not thinking clearly.
When you survive, like, so there was a big shootout that we didn't see, and when people go through things like that, people will, I don't know, form like friendships or whatever because they.
Well, I think they kind of showcase
does.
Mr. White and Mr. Orange getting close even before the heist. Though, like, when they flash back to Mr. Orange in the car with them, and they're like, you know, they're going through like what they're going to be doing, and they're like, okay, let's go get tacos. Like I think they're trying to like he didn't show a lot of it, but Tarantino tried to show that these guys they were closer than any of the other guys were.
Mr.
I
Orange was an actor, and he was very charismatic, so maybe Mr. White got this soft spot for him.
I think also police officers are supposed to be very. I mean, obviously, undercover ones are supposed to not be very honest, right? Because they're being undercover. But I think at the end of the day, a police officer is supposed to be kind of a quote unquote good guy who's supposed to be honest and everything like that. And not saying that was it, but I personally think that if it was me and I was bleeding out and I felt like I was just about to, like, he'd been bleeding out there for so long, like, he's probably gonna die, I would just fucking fess up. Because, you know, his personality, I feel like being a cop and everything, I feel like he would have. But I could see it going either way, honestly.
And you know what? Like, maybe he felt bad because Mr. White defended him so hard and was shot and was going to die because of him defending him. He doesn't know why.
Would have been better
maybe
to not tell him the truth so he doesn't feel bad.
Well, maybe he didn't think he'd put the gun to his head and shoot his fucking brains out.
Yeah. Jeff, I'm actually kind of surprised that you disagree with that, like, level of honor so much because, like, I don't know, like, you portray that quite a bit.
Yeah, glorious.
You know, because Yeah.
And also,
But
Oh, so good.
But yeah, because in my mind, like, you know, like I think he just saw someone who doesn't really know him that well, but just defend him to a level that he sacrificed his life for someone. You know what I mean? Like, it's like if, like, I don't know, in my mind, like, it's like if someone that you had only been in a guild with for a couple of weeks, you know what I mean? But like, you had just grown this bond, and you just saw like he did anything to defend your honor. I don't know. You're just like, I just like, you know, I can't, like, I just need to say this. I need to say this out loud. I don't know. I completely understood that.
Also, it could be something like, you know, Mr. White is constantly around thieves, and in this room he's in with thieves and murderers and gangsters, and there's this one guy over here who's a cop. Maybe he could just kind of sense that he was the only decent person in that room.
You know what? You guys have actually, you convinced me. I changed my opinion. I agree.
Sick.
Moving on, the next thing I want to talk about is earlier in the movie, Mr. Pink says something about like everyone panics, like everyone panics. It's only human nature to panic,
but you keep it inside.
Yeah, like you can't help it. And I think that quote is like really important at like nearing the end of the movie when literally everyone is panicking, the cops included. You know, it's like everyone shoots everyone and they couldn't help it because, you know, they're panicking. I think that was a foreshadowing quote.
So just really quickly, the last thing I want to talk about was the scene where Mr. Blonde is torturing that cop.
Yeah, I hated the ear part. God, I could have totally done without seeing
it's
an
really,
ear being chopped off.
It's really fucked up. But I originally saw it like The Simpsons did an Itchy and Scratchy skit that was like there was that scene, and I couldn't help but just think about that, and I was just laughing the entire time. Like it just kind of took away from it. Other than that, yeah, the guy had his ear cut off, and other guy is like dying and like whisper.
I love that scene.
He's dying and he's whisper talking to him. It's like, how is he hearing him right now? Not only is it an incredible amount of pain, but his ear is cut off.
The ear's not the outer ear isn't the important part, Mike.
Yeah.
No, I understand that, but I feel like there would be so much like trauma and damage to that area that I don't think he could hear out of it at that moment.
Can you imagine in the movie? What did you say?
He's like,
I love Mr.
like, I'm a cop, and he's like, yeah, I know you're a cop, you're Frank. Like, I just was like, how is he hearing him? Also, the radio.
I never thought that.
The radio should have been on still. Mr. Blonde never turned it off. It turned off when he got shot. What is this? What is this? Some kind of magic radio connected to his soul?
Don't be that guy, Mike. I do love Mr. Orange. Like, I don't know. I related so much to that scene because he's just like, I got my ear chopped off. He's like freaking out. He's like, dude, I'm fucking dying over here.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I'm fucking dying. I'm just like, yes, that's exactly how I would act. Like this is like word for word, like what I would say to this person right now.
Well, he's trying to like,
fuck you, I'm fucking dying.
He's trying to be like, oh, we can make through this together, and he's like crying about his ear, and he's like, buddy, like I have it so much worse than you.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's hear from Jeff this time.
I've kind of talked about the two things that I really wanted to talk about. It was a good movie. Wasn't my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie.
Do you know which one is your favorite? That's my problem.
Either
See, I just
Kill Bill or Hateful Eight, because I really like those two movies.
I would say Hateful Eight as well,
but I really like Kill Bill because I remember seeing it when I was a kid. I don't know why my parents let me see it.
Kill Bill.
Like, I was like a young kid, and I just remember the blood scene where she's killing all the Asian people. There's just blood everywhere.
For me,
So funny.
That was the best.
Kill-
Yeah, Kill Bill Volume 1 is so good.
For me, Kill Bill is very just, it's just appealing for the eyes, but I find it very shallow, and it just never really did much for me.
Shallow. Why
Anyway,
shallow?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was a good movie. 7 out of 10. Liked. I just wanted to talk about that foreshadowing with that quote, and then you guys have definitely changed my mind on the Mr. Orange situation. Other than that, yes, it was a good movie. I don't have anything else really to say.
On a super side note, did any of you guys ever see Beethoven 2? Or Beethoven at all? Do you
Is that
remember the
With
movie about
the
the dog?
dog?
Yeah, okay, this
Was
is
that a
super...
Tarantino movie?
No.
No, no.
This is a super side note. But Chris Penn, or what is his name? Good Guy Eddie or something. So Chris Penn, Good Guy Eddie, played in Beethoven 2. He was like the evil boyfriend, like one of the villains. And like so the whole time, like whenever I saw him, I was like, I recognize it. I think he's from Beethoven. I was
This
just
guy Beethoven.
like I saw Beethoven so much when I was a kid. I was just like, that guy is from fucking. He's a villain from Beethoven. He tried to steal puppies. Now he's a crime boss son.
I remember watching the Golden Retriever buddy movies. I was so pissed because I was like, man, those kids on the opposite team must be so fucking defeated. Like to lose to a dog, man, I would.
Right?
Or what about the
How shaming.
What about the kid on the team that got benched for a dog?
Yeah, how does the coach like, hey Timmy, we're gonna put the dog in now. We're gonna need you to take a seat.
Okay.
Anyway, back to
Let's.
Reservoir Dogs.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. It's about dogs. But yeah, apparently he's also the younger brother of Sean Penn and Michael Penn, which I didn't know. And he's dead. What the hell? He died
Poor.
of an enlarged heart. Can you imagine dying from that? You got too big of a.
Aww.
He was only 40 years old. Holy crap. Okay, it's super off track.
Let's.
But rest in peace, Chris Penn.
What happens when you don't love Christmas your entire life?
Let's hear from Garrett.
All right. I've seen this movie before, but I forgot some parts of it. Although I slowly remembered that Mr. Orange was the snitch. And just going, I feel back to that. Like Mr. White doesn't tell anyone that Mr. Orange was shot by like a civilian. So I feel like everyone else thinks he was shot by a cop in this shootout, so they don't think that he's one of the snitches because if he was a snitch,
Oh.
cops wouldn't have shot him.
Oh.
So I feel like
Oh, wait, say that again?
Mr. White doesn't tell anyone that Mr. Orange was shot by a girl or a woman whenever they're trying to steal her car.
So they just figured he got shot by a cop in the shootout.
Ah.
Yeah. Because I also feel like just Mr. White kind of took Mr. Orange under his wing and kind of just thought of him as like a younger self. I don't know though. Like,
Also-
just my own speculation, but
Yeah. Also, Mr. Orange killed Mr. Brown. Right?
Did he?
didn't.
Yeah, because he's just
I
like
don't, it doesn't ever show how Mr. Brown got killed.
no, because remember, so he's talking to him in the car, and Mr. White goes somewhere else. I don't know. I don't remember what he grabs. And then he comes back, and Mr. Brown's dead.
I don't think he didn't kill
I
him.
don't
He
think
just like
killed him,
died.
because he had blood on his forehead already.
Yeah.
Like, he's already
I
like
thought he just like shot him. Yeah, no, yeah, he shot him in the head while Mr. White shot those cops.
I definitely did not see that.
I don't-
I don't believe
I
that.
didn't see that. at
No,
all
okay,
either.
because he's going, I can't see, and he's like, oh, you just got blood in your eyes. Mr. White turns around and shoots at those cops, and then he's just like, what happened to him? And he's like, oh, he's dead. I'm pretty sure Mr. Orange killed.
See,
Why would they?
I'm pretty sure Mr. Orange killed Mr. Brown.
I don't think so.
that would be very illegal.
I think he did too.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Why would he kill him? He's a
I'm
cop.
gonna watch this
Did
again.
Mr. Garrett, while you talk, I'm gonna Google this.
All right.
Yeah, I did that too.
Reservoir Dogs. It's not my favorite Tarantino movie either.
So what is yours? Baby's
either-
Day Out.
Django or Inglourious Bastards. Mostly, I think just because I love Christoph Waltz.
Django is really good.
Yeah, I think Christoph Waltz has an amazing performance in both of those movies.
Yeah.
Christoph Waltz is so good.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie was really good. I remember liking it whenever I first watched it because I do enjoy the whole movie being in one area because they're just kind of stressed and like high tension. I think I'd give it a 8 loved. Oh, and also, do you guys, because me, Gabe, and Julie were talking about who shot good guy Eddie at the end, because Joe was pointing a gun at Orange.
I'm pretty sure White shot both of them, didn't he?
Okay, yeah. Maybe
He shoot both of them. That's a good switching between targets while he's getting fucked.
That's really fucking.
Well,
impressive.
he's like the old, experienced
It's because
guy,
Joe was
right?
pointing at Orange, so he shoots Joe first and immediately turns on Eddie. I'm pretty sure.
So Eddie and White shoot each other at the same time.
Does White get shot at all? I don't think so. I don't think he gets shot till the cops, right?
No, White
gets
got shot.
because he's like wounded, and then he holds Orange in his lap whenever the cops come in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he for sure gets shot.
And then I love Mr. Pink just coming out from under the stairs like
The only rational
I
character.
just watched the video of the final scene. Yeah, Mr. White shoots him. It's difficult to tell because of the camera angle, but he moves his arm. It's like, but it's like parallel. You can't. It's very difficult to tell. He does.
Yeah, I just rewatched it too. You're right. I still don't know about. I still think Michael's wrong about who killed Mr. Brown. So.
I watched that part too recently, and no, he didn't put a gun to his head or anything. He just like passed out from head trauma.
So then,
see, Michael.
So then, is Mr. Brown actually dead?
if he's not, then again he got the death penalty like Mr. Pink.
Well, maybe he just got out of his fucking car and got away.
I mean, I guess that's an option. Pretty sure Mr. Brown's dead though.
I don't know. He was talking normally, and then he's just dead. So weird. I don't know, man.
He just couldn't talk or act good because it's Quentin Tarantino. He doesn't know how to act.
Yeah, he was a really bad actor, man.
Yeah, no.
I'm in a movie.
Also, Tarantino always puts himself in his own movies just so he can say the N-word. That's one thing that always bugs me. Is like he just wants to say it, and he wants.
Are you sure?
He always says it.
When did he say it in this movie?
He might not have said it in this movie, but there were definitely white guys saying the N-word in this movie.
We could also talk about Tarantino's interpretation of Like a Virgin.
Yeah, I saw that. I think it's funny. Apparently, like Madonna sent like Tarantino like an autograph after she said that she liked the movie, but she was just like, it's not about dicks, it's about love.
I'm pretty sure it's
like you were wrong.
Do you have anything more to say, little Garrett?
No, I think that's it. I'm good.
Jared?
Alright, let's see. I'm gonna go with this movie in 8 and liked. I saw this movie a while ago, so rewatching it was always good. It's just a good heist movie. It's like the pre-Pulp Fiction where you're skipping around a little bit, not quite as much maybe in Pulp Fiction, but just seeing all the characters, meeting them, and trying to get an idea of how the scheme works and what went wrong. So I like how Joe's plan is basically you get a bunch of out-of-town people, nobody knows each other, so the plan works good. Somebody gets captured, nobody rat on anybody, really, except for, I guess, on Joe. But the problem is, shit went down, and nobody knew who to trust, which is why White ends up trusting Orange. Nobody trusts Blonde because he's a psychopath, other than the fact they're pretty sure he's not the snitch. But Joe and nice guy Eddie, they do trust Blonde because they know him, and they like him, and he's done stuff for them, so that's why they're sure it's Orange, and it all kind of blows up in their face.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Orange really fucked up shooting Blonde. Because he just figured they didn't know him.
Excuse, it doesn't pan out for them.
And then when the son's like, that guy did time for my dad and blah blah blah. So I know he ain't trying to fuck us over. Yeah.
No. When Nice Guy Eddie said all that, I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, Mr. Orange did. Like, that is a great argument for why Mr. Orange is not, or why Mr. Blonde was not that guy. Like, yeah, even though he was a psychopath and super terrible.
Yeah. Then overall, just a really good movie. Trying to think about any more points that wasn't already discussed though. Other than that, just like how Orange's funny anecdote that he needed to tell those guys, how it evolved over him practicing it. Like when you first hear it, it doesn't sound anything like what's going on when he finally tells it to those guys and describes it.
Yeah, I did like that transition.
It's cool.
But yeah,
I feel bad for Mr. Orange because he was like a nerd. He was just like, yeah, he looks just like
Fantastic Four. He had a Silver Surfer poster.
I know.
Thing.
I'm like, poor Mr. Orange. He was just a nerd.
Yeah, not quite good enough. And then he did murder that woman, but obviously that was just reflex.
Yeah, I feel. Yeah.
And he shot Mr. Brown, so he's an asshole.
He
didn't shoot Mr. Brown.
He definitely shot Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
He shot blood.
He didn't.
Thank you, Gabe. Okay. I guess Gabe now?
Okay. Being second to last, I know how you feel, Johnny. Because so many things were taken that I was going to talk about. But I have five. I'll just say I have 5 things I kind of wrote down. First was the Who Shot Eddie, but we kind of talked about that one. Second, I really just liked Nice Guy Eddie, his character. I don't know what it was, him being the spoiled son of a gangster, but he was also kind of like a gangster.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, him being slightly overweight made him a little bit more intimidating, because if he was really tiny, he'd been just a little punk ass. He was kind of like a mix of a punk ass and like a hard ass.
Those tight jeans.
A little bit.
Yeah,
yes.
I really liked him too, Gabe. He was one of my favorite characters as well.
Yeah, and I was about to say, Jared just talked about it, but yeah, one of my favorite scenes is him calling out Mr. Orange about his bullshit fucking
story
reason.
Yeah.
And he went on a whole tirade, like a good 30-second tirade, and just blew that to shit.
No, that was a great freaking monologue. Like, I was just like, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe it's because I have seen him in other movies, and I like that actor, even though he did pass. I don't know, I really kind of felt partial towards him. I liked his character a lot. Another one that we kind of brought up, I've always been a fan of Steve Buscemi. I think it's because I'm always rooting for him because he's such an ugly fucker. Like, he's such an ugly guy. But I'm always like, good on you for getting this job and stuff. I don't know, maybe I feel bad for him or something. But I like him in Boardwalk Empire a lot. And another gangster series, or he doesn't even play a protagonist. He plays like you hate him some episodes, you like him some episodes. It's a really good balance. And most movies, I like Steve Buscemi. And yes, he was the only professional. And the fucking whole crew, everybody's losing their shit.
Yeah, he's the only one that kept it to an actual job in his mind.
Yeah.
Even though I still think he's a dick for not tipping. Like, come on. Like, I was getting legitimately mad during that scene. I'm like, no, just it's a fucking $1. Steve Buscemi, it's $1.
He's got a point in that I don't think employers should make us pay something that's not advertised on a menu. Just like in Europe and everywhere else, they tip like $1 or $2.
I think in most places in Europe they don't even tip.
Yeah, it's like if
tip in Japan.
Yeah, it's like their employers pay their employees a fair wage, or
Yeah, tipping culture. I hate tipping culture. It's
tipping culture actually started. Fun fact here, in the Prohibition age.
Yeah.
When Prohibition started and they weren't getting as many sales from alcohol, they couldn't pay their staff as much, and they said, well, try to get it from the person. And that's when the big tipping culture happened in the U.S.
I tip, but what bugs me, and someone that works with waitresses all the time, is when they expect you to tip them well. Like, these girls, they'll be like, oh, they only gave me $10. And I'm like, well, how much was the bill? And it's like, oh, they tipped you 15%. What are you complaining about? That's like the average. Oh, well, it's only like $10. Fuck you.
The average is 20%. I'm the only person that's actually been
I
a
think
waitress.
the average is 15.
No,
So-
15%.
What?
I think it's
15% is
15,
the
I think-
average. When
I
you
don't know if it's the average,
if-
but
if-
you always aim for 20. Like for me,
No.
like you always aim for 20.
No.
No. 15.
Unless like it's stellar.
No.
Like,
Yeah, no.
whatever.
15
Yeah,
is
and I was always stellar.
15 is average. 18% is if they do really well, and 10% is if they sucked.
No, like if I ended my evening and my average for the whole night wasn't like in the 20%, I would be like, what did I do? Like, why did I not do a good job? Like that's like a shitty night. Like I'm always aiming. I was a waitress for 4.5 years, and when I was always aiming to be an average of 20 to 5%.
I think that is a high
Holy
goal.
shit.
Romy, how
I
low
always
is
And I
Good
I
guy,
did it.
Johnny.
Well, I mean, I always tip too, John, but like
No,
not
20.
20.
I always tip 20%.
Holy
Really?
fuck, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Guys,
you
just to make everybody happy, I just googled it and it says it's between 15 and 20.
Oh,
Okay,
so
so
we're
we're-
all right. Everyone's right.
Everyone's
Yeah.
right. Yay.
Yay.
So wish
But
we could
I'm
go
just
away.
telling you where I aimed for, and like there was very very few times, and I worked full time. Like there were very very few times that I did not make that.
Interesting.
So you
But
guys
I'm-
are all assholes, right?
Yeah, that's
I think that's what we're hearing.
be a waitress. Be a waitress for fucking a week. Maybe not. in Canada,
I
but your
would make.
waitresses suck.
I would make.
Michael, your waitresses suck. In
Yes,
Canada, I'm not
that's
sure.
hey,
Like,
that's
your servers are just
and that's
not
what I'm
good.
saying. You've been to my restaurant and you know how shitty they are, and they expect more than 15%. It's
Yeah,
I don't
blood
think I
boiling.
got a
Radish
refill
place
the
was
entire
so
time I was
bad.
at your restaurant.
It's
And Julie was,
blood boiling.
Julie was getting so mad at me at your restaurant because I was going to tip her like 15%, and Julie was getting so mad at me. 'cause she wanted me to tip her.
15% is fair.
And I was like, and she was so bad. It was one of the worst.
They all
waitresses
went
I've
outside for a cigarette for like 15 minutes, and I was like, "Can we get some more water?" Anyways, Garrett, one thing I wanted to say to you was, what's the son's name? Good guy Johnny?
Good guy, Eddie.
Eddie.
Good guy Eddie.
Good
sorry.
guy, Eddie.
He's
Nice guy, Eddie.
nice guy. I guess Ricky looks exactly like him. Like they have the same hair and everything.
They have the same hair, but not the same face.
Who's Ricky?
I really think that like
From,
they based the Ricky
Reservoir.
character off of that guy though.
No
At least the
way.
looks.
The Ricky character is too stupid.
No, but Ricky always wears like kind of like the jump suits like that and tracksuits and stuff. I think they based the looks off of him,
Maybe the looks, but not the personality.
not the personality. No. Were you done, Gabe?
I was not. Thank you very much.
We got a tangent about tipping.
So I only have two more things to talk about, and they're gonna be really quick. My favorite character was Mr. Blue. And
The old guy that didn't do anything?
exactly. No, I thought it was hilarious that they had a person that was like not in the movie, basically at all. And it's like, yeah, he died. Yeah, he died. Yeah, he died.
Yeah, he looked
whole
like the most badass out of them all. Like he's got the cigar. He's like all.
In the face,
He's all.
man.
He's all. He's all
he looked fake.
weathered.
He looked like he had. I take one look at him, and I look like he's got fucking lung cancer, and he's gonna fall over and die. That's what I
Oh
thought.
my god, he died not too long after you guys. Can you not?
Aw.
It looked like
No, he didn't. He was in the longest yard, wasn't he?
Yeah, he did. He was. He died in 05. I'm
Oh.
just
Okay, that wasn't the longest yard happened, I think. Shit. All right, never mind.
Can I just say, like, as a woman too, all these guys, like, for the 90s, like, men didn't wear suits that fit them in the 90s. Like, they were always like
yeah.
oversized. All these guys wore such well-fitted suits. They looked amazing.
Well, they own the suits, so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But even like their style, like in the 90s though, like the style was for it to be oversized, and I don't know, they all look so good. I'm just like,
I want one of those suits.
yeah, you should have one.
Yeah, I should have a suit.
It's just like, I was just like, man, for the 90s, this is impressive. Like, their outfits are timeless.
And one last point, kind of going back to Mike's point early on, was a lot of I think a lot of the reason I like Tarantino movies is because the dialogue and the atmosphere does feel extremely real. Like the whole tipping scene, even before that kind of got me a little loosened up to kind of feel more, I guess, for these characters, or just, insert myself into that situation just a little bit. But what I'll say is that he doesn't perfect it to any degree, because some of the dialogue he has is so lame sometimes. There were a couple of fucking sentences they said where I guess they were trying to act like a bad, and it just I don't know. I think he said they would say something, and I was just like, ooh, that felt either cringy or lame or something like that. For the most part, I enjoy.
So the thing with the Quentin Tarantino dialogue is, I like it and I don't like it. I like it that it's different from other movies where, like, most movies, everything they say has something to do with what's going on, and that makes sense. But then also, Tarantino kind of makes it more real, because not everything you're going to talk about is going to have to do with the story. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So that's it. I'll give it a 7.5, and like.
What's wrong with you? Just say 7 or 8. Just make up your mind.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I was going to say 6.5, but then I just bumped it up to a 7.
Damn right you did.
So let's hear from the closer.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna give this movie a 7, and I liked you guys, hit on a lot of the topics that I was probably gonna say. But one thing that I wanted to mention was just like the idea of using like the time jump of like going from after the scene back beforehand to like before any of it all started, and then jumps back to like right before the event takes place, and then back to the aftermath of it. Like they did that really well to like make sure that you were like still fully immersed and like didn't really know like who was a snitch and what exactly was going on, and it kind of like slowly opened you up to more like ideas and possibilities of what could have happened. And I think that like made me want to stay in the movie a little bit longer, because like there were a few times where I was getting bored. Like at the very start, after the very first scene ended with them like getting out of the diner, and then it like started going into these credits, so, like a black screen with like the credits. I was like, oh wow, great movie, awesome, cool. And I just like closed out of my screen. I was like, this movie fucking blows if this is the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
But no, I was pleasantly surprised about how well it was portrayed, and I've never seen a movie before, so like going into it was surprising how much of the time or the setting was like in a few places. I think they did that really well. But yeah, I don't know. I felt bad for the cop that got tortured, and then the Mr. Orange. Like that was just kind of, that sucks. That really sucks that he like, whenever good guy Eddie comes in and just like shoots him in the chest, he's like, oh, so you mean like he was gonna do this?
Yeah,
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, but it like blows. Like you just think about that, because like right beforehand he was telling him just hold on just a little bit longer. As soon as that guy walks to the door, like you'll be safe, man. Just gets fucking shot. So
the cops did take a while though. Like man,
yeah,
because they were in there and had that whole like ordeal scene. Like, where are the cast?
That Diamond Forever finds out the cops knew about this robbery ahead of time. The city's getting sued to shitting back because a lot of people got shot in that store.
Yeah.
And the cops are going to stop it from ever even happening.
True.
I think probably they were just waiting for Mr. Orange, like a signal or something, and they probably didn't
That does
know.
not matter because they knew ahead of time it was going to be there.
Though I mean,
Yeah.
I mean for the end, for them to get there.
Well, this one's definitely not giving any signals.
Well, yeah, they probably didn't know he was shot and wounded or whatever.
I don't understand why the cops went to like. So if I really think about it, to me, I don't understand like as a cop why I would go, like, I don't know, and like so severely to the or whatever, like because they knew where they were gonna get together at the end of it. You know what I mean? Like, why not just catch them there with no civilians around?
They had
Like,
to,
I don't understand.
They had to make sure the boss showed up.
Yeah, but he was gonna show up. I guess would he not have shown up? It sounded to me like the boss was gonna show up regardless. Did it not?
They probably want to catch him at the one place just in case there wasn't any kind of switch and there's actually a backup thing because they're onto their snitch or whatever.
Yeah.
So they wanted to just get them, have the diamonds, walk out the store, and 17 cop cars are there. The problem is somebody tripped an alarm and Blonde just started shooting everybody. That's what the entire plan went to shit for both sides.
Yeah. No, it's it's actually kind of crazy, like thinking about the moral compass of these guys too, because Mr. White, Mr. Pink, and Mr. Orange are just like, what the fuck was wrong with Mr. Blonde? Like, that is not what we do. Like, did you see how old? And like they say something at one point. They're like, did you see how old that Clark was? Like, she was only like what, maybe 20, 21? Like, and they're just like, what is wrong with, like, to them, it's funny, like, because they're a group of criminals, but to them, they're just like, that's not fucking, like, you don't do that. Like, you don't kill people like that.
I guess that's, like, it's just showing the difference between criminals. Like, there are different types.
No, I think, and Mr. Pink says something, Steve Buscemi at one point, he's like, oh, did they kill any real people, like, was it any real people, like, or was it just cops? Like, real, like, it's just like, I'm just like, okay, cops aren't real people to them. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't, like, this is such a weird, gray, like, moral compass to me.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone have anything else to add? No? Okay. So, next week is Gabe?
Si, senor.
What are we watching?
So I got two options here. The second option came literally at 8 p.m. tonight because it's been in the back of my head. I always forgot about it, and I've never seen either of these, and that's kind of why I want to pick them.
Okay.
One is we're just going to follow the Quentin Tarantino trilogy, or his movies, and go to the next one. I think this is the next one that I haven't seen, and that's Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
I have a feeling a lot of you have seen it, so who has not seen Pulp Fiction?
Oh, wow.
Good list.
Everyone's
Wow. So I'm the only one. Okay, I might watch that on my own time then.
I'd be down to watch it again. So
No, please.
Oh, Johnny did
I just saw it. It was 3 hours. I'm like, fuck. I don't think I want to do that to myself even. So I'm gonna go to this one, which I don't have a good idea on this one. I'm just popped in my head, and I've heard good things about it. Who has not seen The Fifth Element?
I have not.
Fifth element.
The Fifth, as opposed to The Sixth Element.
Good movie.
Oh, this guy.
I see elements.
I've seen bits and
Oh,
pieces
the
of it.
popsicle, meat popsicle. Yeah, I've seen that.
Meat
Popsicle. You
Oh,
have not seen Fifth
Negative.
Element.
I am a meat popsicle or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a reference, Julie. Come
That's
on.
right.
It
That's
is
a
a reference.
You have not seen this movie.
I don't think you can speak badly about
The Fifth Element is a cult classic, man.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing.
It's
All right. Well, that's only
Gabe's
two I got.
never seen it.
That's the only two I got, so I'm gonna have to go with The Fifth Element then.
Okay.
Okay.
So next week, watch Fifth Element. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
You
Bye.
can watch it for money on Amazon Prime and YouTube and Google Play.
I have rented so many movies off of YouTube. Anyways, say bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.